All right. So there's actually been a change of plans on our future TV purchases that we're going to be getting in the next coming up months. Now, we were originally planning on getting two televisions, one being the LG C3 and the other one being the Samsung S90C. Well, here lately, this has just been a really thought going on in our heads, and it honestly is the smarter thing to do. So, for this year, for the rest of this year, and the start of 2024, we're actually going to be taking a step back and we're going to get some of the cheaper premium TVs that are only almost half the price as those two OLEDs that we just mentioned. And I know OLED is incredibly good. OLED is definitely superior. But when you really think about it, we got like a lot of LCD TVs that are starting to get very, very close to identical to basically an OLED TV, like contrast being so good, very, very tiny bit of blooming, like almost so much tiny blooming that you barely even tell the blooming is even there, and it just looks like an OLED. So with LCD TVs getting even better, this actually makes sense. So the two TVs that we're going to be getting, well, we're technically going to be getting three as a possibility, but these two are definitely the first two on our list. We're going to be getting the Hisense U8K and the TCL QM8. Now, these TVs are insanely good for the value of the price point that the two brands are offering. Hisense and TCL are absolutely are killing it and undercutting the competition. Like, their TVs are way cheaper with premium specs, with similar specs like from Sony, Samsung, and LG, and if not similar specs, then even better specs than them for way lower price points. And I can't honestly believe how good that Hisense and TCL's TVs are becoming. Like, they're becoming really, really value and relevant to a lot of consumers. So, the TCL QM8 and the Hisense U8K are now going to be our further TV purchases than compared to the LG C3 and the Samsung S90C. But there is some new improved features that these two models do have from the previous models, which is one of them that we do have, which is the Hisense U8H, and I love that TV. It's really incredible. But the U8K has now got a game dashboard, and then now it's the first Hisense TV that can actually do 144 hertz, and also the TCL QM8 also can do 144 hertz. So when it comes to gaming, the TCL QM8 and the Hisense U8K are going to be probably the best gaming TVs, the best affordable value premium gaming TVs of 2023. And like, they're just that good from as far as we've seen the reviews. Now, for when we get the TVs ourselves, that's going to be a completely different story. So let's go on ahead and let's actually show you the TVs off of Best Buy's website and also discuss our third TV that we're going to be possibly getting after we get these two here in the next couple months. So let's go on ahead and show you. All right. So the first TV that we're going to show you off of Best Buy's website is, of course, the TCL QM8. Now, this TV is already on sale for a very, very good price with a good percentage off. And as you can see, when this TV first came out, really just like basically a month ago, this TV was originally this price right here. It was $1,700. Right now, this is TCL's top tier TV, at least right now in the US. And from a YouTuber that did a review on it, I've actually heard that this TV is actually capable of hitting 3000 nits of peak brightness. Now, that is insanely bright. And then as of right now with the reviews, it's got only 41 reviews, but that's just because this particular model has only been out for a month. But so far, out of the 41 views, it's literally almost a total 5 stars, a 4.8 out of 5. So there's a lot of positivity when it comes to this television right here. But for 3000 nits of peak brightness, and for this price point, and this being a 144 hertz native panel and having a gaming dashboard, the brightness, just like, I'm telling you, like, I honestly do believe that the QM8 TCL TV is probably going to be the best TV for basically 2023. Like, even for not just gaming use, but just for basically normal usage. But gaming is definitely going to be a big part of a selling point with this TV. This is definitely going to be one of the TVs strictly of the year. Like, for 3000 nits peak brightness, awesome HDR highlights, and awesome gaming performance, and really good colors and contrast, and all that. Like, for $1,200 for a decent big size 65 inches, you can't go wrong. Like, I honestly thought that the Hisense U8H, which still is an incredible TV, and if you are looking for a new TV and you want a TV that is a budget price point for you, but also has a premium picture to it, I still would highly recommend getting the Hisense U8H, because you are definitely not going to be disappointed with it whatsoever. And from the U8K right now, it is about $200 off, so you're really going to get a lot more better bang for your buck when it comes to the Hisense U8H. But we'll go ahead and show you the specifications of the TCL. And as you know, it's an LED and all this, and it is a mini LED, and then it's a local dimming. Now, it does say that it is 120 hertz right here, but it's actually, to be truthful, the TV can actually play at 144 hertz. So 120 hertz, I think, is mostly what it's made for. But a reviewer has stated that the TV can actually do at, like, personally, like, it could go up to 144 hertz. But 120 hertz is still relatively good, still to this day, even for some TVs that don't even have 144 hertz native refresh rate. But this TV, even though on Best Buy's website it says it's only 120, it's definitely 144 hertz. Now, I think this one is only 144 hertz on one HDMI, or maybe possibly two. I forget what the reviewer said on this TV, which was Tech Steve, and he is a fabulous, like, TV reviewer, and he did a comparison between this one and the other one that we're going to show you, the Hisense U8K, and he mentioned that both TVs can actually do 144 hertz, but I forget what he said. I know one had, like, I think less 144 hertz option, and the other one had two, and I think the TCL only had one HDMI, and that being HDMI 4, that can only do 144 hertz, and then all the other ones can do 120, and then I think the Hisense U8K was the one that can do 144 hertz on 3s, and on HDMI's 3 and 4, and then 1 and 2 were only top out at 120. So even still then, I mean, gaming consoles can't even do that, and only somebody with a good, decent PC can actually get 144 hertz. So even if there's only one HDMI that can do 144 hertz, like I think the TCL one does, most people are not even going to be, it's not going to be a loss. Like, you're still going to get the benefits, because, I mean, console gaming as of right now, we don't even get games on console that can even barely run at 120, let alone 144. So, yeah. But when it comes to the picture quality, the brightness, and the capabilities, the TCL QM8 is going to blow the doors off of Samsung, LG, and even Sony to an extent when it comes to pricing and picture quality. And already, as of right now, it so far almost has a total of 5 stars with 41 people that have already got this TV, at least in this area. So this is just, that's incredible. So the next TV, which is going to be our second one, we're going to be getting the TCL one first, considering we already have the U8H from Hisense, and we don't have a TCL right now. But this is our next one that we're going to get once we finish paying off the TCL in the next few months. And it's nice to, have option to build credit. Now, this TV basically just came out last week or within the last week or so. And this is actually only for, it's only been out for a week and there's only one review. But as of right now, he gave it a 5 out of 5 star rating. And I honestly do believe the same thing is going to happen with this television as well. Now, this television won't get as bright as the TCL, around 3000 nits, but this TV is very capable at 1500 to 2000 nits peak brightness, which is still insanely bright when you especially compare to OLEDs that can't even get near 1000 nits unless you go for this super premium OLEDs like the G3 from LG. That's the only way you're going to be able to go to up to 2000 nits peak brightness. And I mean, Samsung's QD OLEDs are becoming somewhat decently bright, and I think even the S95C can actually go up to almost 2000 nits peak brightness. But when it still comes to LCD TVs like this one, and even the TCL being able to hit almost or right at 3000 nits, you're still not going to get an OLED TV that's going to get those levels of high peak brightness. And even some of Samsung's QLEDs, Neo QLEDs I should say, are actually able to hit up to 2000, 2500 nits of peak brightness. And when you're in a bright room and you're seeing bright highlights and whatnot, it's still going to look incredibly gorgeous with those bright highlights. But this is our next TV, and as of right now, this is actually an extra $100 off on sale than the TCL, but this one still is very, very good. You're still, like I said, you're going to get 1500 to 2000 nits peak brightness with this bad boy, which is still incredibly bright. Now, we're going to go down to the specifications, and then, yeah, it says the same thing with this TV. It's only a 120 hertz panel, but this TV is definitely 100% capable at 144 hertz. And honestly, from what I heard, this is the TV that you can play 144 hertz on 2 of its HDMIs. HDMIs 3 and 4 is what I think that they are. And then HDMIs 1 and 2 are only top out at 120, which now, with that being said, that's actually a really good selling point for the Hisense now being able to support all 4 of its HDMIs at 120 hertz at basically HDMI 2.1 specifications. So that's going to be incredibly, and like I said, this is going to be another big selling point. A TV that's probably going to sell way better than Samsung, LG, Sony, and all those top 3 other brands. I'm telling you, Hisense and TCL are really coming out hard, and they're just throwing shade at LG, Samsung, and Sony for their TVs with their premium specs that they have for way value price points. And honestly, this is going to be another good seller. Now, Tech Steve, when he did his comparison between this one and the TCL, he did mention that when it comes to gaming, he thought that the Hisense is better, and it has a lot more better gaming picture modes on the gaming dashboard and other extra gaming features that the TCL did not have. But the TCL still has really good, incredible performance and still has that gaming hub or gaming bar, whatever, to let you pick the different the different picture presets of like if you want like FPS or like RTS or freaking standard picture mode, or if you want like real life universe, all the different kinds of picture modes that you would get in a basically gaming menu that lets you pick. So both TVs are going to be really good selling points for gamers for the year 2023. And I honestly do think that the Hisense U8K and the TCL QM8 are going to probably be the best selling TVs for gamers this holiday season, just because of their price points and the specs that they have. I mean, Hisense and TCL are starting to be like probably the best brands out there. Like straight up, like they are starting to be the best brands when it comes to TVs. So this one is going to be our next one on our list after we purchase the TCL QM8. But we was going to get this one first, but because we already have the U8H right now from Hisense, it's actually smarter for us to get the TCL first, and then we will get the U8K later on. So I think that's actually going to be really smart. Now, this is our last TV that we're going to try to get, and this one probably won't happen until probably sometime start of the new year. But as you can see, we're going to be getting the Sony X90L full array. Now, this is not a mini LED like the other two TVs, but Sony just has had incredible, beautiful, clean pictures on a majority of its TVs, and Sony, to me, is like the best brand out there. Sony has been our favorite brand. The only thing that sucks about Sony's is, the input lag is still really low for gaming, but when you compare to like TCL, Samsung, and even LG, it's definitely, those ones are definitely lower on input lag for gaming than what Sony offers. But it's only roughly like anywhere between like 5 to 7 milliseconds. So really, you're not going to tell a difference at all from like 17 milliseconds of input lag down to 10 milliseconds of input lag. You're really not going to tell a difference between 7 milliseconds. So really, if I was to say if Sony was a good TV brand for gaming, I would honestly say yes. And this year, Sony's also added their own gaming hub. It's not quite as good as the Hisense and TCL and even the LG and Samsung's game bar, but they did added a game bar that lets you know of like what the resolution and frame rate that your game or that the display is running on your game, and if VRR is turned on and if the HDR is active and such like that. Now, that's definitely still a good point, but when it comes to having, like pre-picture presets of different types of games like RTS, FPS gaming, the different types of games that you play, and they have different picture presets for each individual one. As it's sad to say, Sony TVs still do not have that option, at least from as far as what we've seen on Sony's new 2023 lineup. But they still got some new gaming features, at least that let you know what your games are running on and still having a decent low input lag for gaming. So Sony's are still really good. And when it comes to having the best clarity, Sony definitely does have the best clarity out of all the brands out there. And with their new XR processors that they recently added from their 2021 and current TVs, that it's been a really big deal. It's a freaking big difference from going from an old XR or X1 processor. I don't know why I said the XR, but the X1 processor that Sony originally used in their previous latest 20 teen TVs like 2017, 18, and 2019. But the XR processor does give you that extra, clarity when you're looking at certain things on the picture. So yeah. So, and then by that point, when we do get this television in the next several months, this definitely will be quite a bit cheaper. I would say this is probably going to be like around $1,100 to probably $900 probably in between. So by the time we decide to get this TV after we get the other two, I'm actually going to say the Sony X90L is probably going to be between $900 to $1,100 by that point for this size. And it's only got 4 reviews, but that's just because Sony didn't release this TV until like 2 weeks ago. So I definitely am going to say that most of the reviews on this one, just like the X90K, which is one that we have from last year model, and it's a freaking incredible TV from Sony. But this one definitely is supposed to be better, and it's supposed to get even brighter than the X90K. And the X90K is noticeably brighter than the X90J from 2021. So this one's definitely going to be probably our best Sony TV that we've ever bought. And I think gaming is a little bit more focused, like we mentioned on this one, than the X90K was. And the X90K is still fabulous to this day. And if you're in the market for another TV for like a top tier brand and you don't want to pay for high budget price, but you want to pay like, say, like the X90K for an example, and your price point, the X90K is another TV I would honestly recommend getting if you want a premium brand like Sony, and you don't want like a low budget TV, but you also don't want to have to pay super extreme premium, but you want a TV that's like roughly in between. The X90K is going to be also a great deal. But even the X90L is literally in the middle of all of Sony's 2023 lineup. Like, you got their top tier QD OLEDs and then their budget direct LEDs, and the X90L is roughly in between out of all of them. So the X90L looks like it's going to be another top tier. It's going to be another popular TV that's going to sell this year for 2023. And even for $1,400 for a premium brand like Sony with the decent specs that it still has, I'd still say for $1,400 that the X90L is still worth it, even when you compare the Hisense TCL ones also. But yeah, we were originally going to get the C3 LG OLED and as well as the S90C Samsung QD OLED. But because we got like a lot of games coming out and some other stuff that we're going to be getting, like we're going to be getting a new entertainment fireplace stand roughly in the next month or two, and we're going to replace our one. It just makes us a lot more sense to basically just get the cheaper TVs that honestly have really good gaming specs. And honestly, like, these are going to be some of the best for 2023, if not probably the best TVs of 2023, especially the Hisense U8K and the TCL QM8. Like, those ones are just going to be the most popular selling TVs for 2023. And this holiday season is probably when they're going to sell the most by. But 2,000 nits peak brightness and 3,000 nits peak brightness for the TCL and the Hisense, and having its own finally gaming bar that lets you pick the different picture presets of the type of game you're playing, and also showing if you got VRR on, auto low latency mode, and all that good stuff, and if HDR is inactive and what resolution and frame rate that your game's running. These are going to be selling points for definitely gamers, especially for gamers this holiday season. So, yeah. So, I think that this is probably going to be our best choice, and these are now officially going to be our new TVs that we're going to be getting, and our new plans of these TVs. So, our TVs are going to be getting is going to be the QM8 TCL, the U8K Hisense, and even the Sony X90L full array LED TV. And these TVs are going to be really good, and I honestly cannot wait to do reviews on all 3 of these TVs in the upcoming months. And honestly, they're going to be very, very good. And also, I did forgot to mention about the Sony. The Sony is the only one out of the 3 that does not do 144 hertz. So Sony and LG have not made it to like, they have not made it to, honestly, like, a 144 hertz refresh rate. They are still topping out at 120 on their OLEDs, and especially some of Sony's LED TVs like this one. So the Sony, I had something in my throat there for a second. So yeah, the Sony X90L, out of these three that we're going to be getting, is the only TV that can only top out at 120 hertz at 4K. But honestly, it's not really a big deal when you really think about it. I mean, 24 extra frames, I mean, that's not really that much when you're literally comparing 120 to 144 hertz. Now, when you go from 30, like, let's say, up to 54, now that's a big difference of adding 24 extra frames. And then going from 60 up to 120 is not a huge difference, but still a noticeable difference. But going from 120 to 144 hertz, it's not a noticeable difference at all, because, I mean, even 120 is still butterly smooth no matter what the odds are. So the only way you would be able to tell a big difference of extra frame rate is if the TVs went up to 240 hertz. That's the only way you will possibly be able to tell a difference. But 24 extra frames, I mean, there's really not, you're not going to really tell much of a difference. And like we mentioned, when it comes to console gaming, a lot of games on console can't even get up to 120 hertz on alone the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S consoles. So really, most gamers and most like casual gamers out there that have a current gen console or even a top gaming PC, you will still be fine and be thankful for 120 hertz. So yeah. But yeah, the Sony is the only one out of the three on our new future TV purchase list that can only do 120 hertz. But the Hisense and the TCL can actually go up to 144 hertz. And that's actually a really good, another selling point to the two TVs and for lower price points. And yeah, like I'm telling you, like the Hisense U8K and the TCL QM8 are going to be the best TVs this holiday season. Like straight up, they are going to be the best selling points. But other than that, then beside the Sony X90L. But other than that, I hope you all enjoyed this video of our change of plans for our new future TV purchases. Be sure to hit that like button if you enjoy this content. Be sure to also subscribe if you are new to this channel, and be sure to leave us a comment down below of your thoughts if you are somebody that has one of these three TVs, or if you was looking into possibly getting one of these three TVs in the near future, and if you're very excited for getting one, or if you have one of the previous models from them, like the Hisense U8H or the Sony X90K or the TCL R655 6 series. So yeah, just leave us your thoughts down in the comment section down below if you're looking forward to getting one of these three, or if you already have one, or if you have one of the previous models from last year. So yeah, just leave us your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Hit that like button. Also subscribe if you're new, and we will be sure to keep you posted with more content like this going forward, and for the full reviews of these TVs once we get them. But without further ado, this is Tech and Gaming Reviews. Hope y'all enjoy it. Rate, comment, subscribe, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.